Doing this and requiring this to come out could ruin the reputations of completely innocent people. Now they're doing it. We all know why, because they're trying to attack President Trump. Their names may be in these files, and they had nothing to do with this.
We have more clips of MAGA Mike Johnson to debunk, this time in regards to him poisoning the well with the Epstein files and attempting to defend Donald Trump's involvement. So if you can, leave us a like on the video. It helps us out a ton. We're trying to get to 30,000 subscribers, and let's get right to the takedown.
Doing this and requiring this to come out could ruin the reputations of completely innocent people, such as those who have may just have known Epstein but knew nothing of his crimes, or whose names he exploited. Think of this, innocent people whose names he exploited and used to try to get close to his intended victims. Their names may be in these files, and they had nothing to do with this.
I think what we see is the beginning of how the argument for MAGA is going to be molded and how they'll defend Trump when and if all of this comes out on he's just an innocent victim caught in the middle of this release. You know, he knew Epstein, but he didn't know any better. He couldn't have possibly known, yet you have J.D. Vance saying Trump reads people better than he's ever known. Both of those things can't be true at once. And I think the pattern of behavior we've seen from Trump makes his culpability more realistic than his innocence. He has 23 sexual assault allegations against him, including one from a minor. He's been found liable of sexual assault before, where the judge said, by all colloquial definitions of rape, he raped E. Jean Carroll. He walked into the changing room of minors and the teen beauty pageants he owned, which from the minors themselves, on multiple occasions, we know that they were naked when he was walking through there. So the idea that him being involved is far-fetched or some conspiracy is more fantasy than the conspiracy itself is supposed to be.
Reading through the bill, though, I guess I'm confused because the bill specifically says the Attorney General may withhold or redact portions related to child sexual abuse materials as defined in the law, anything jeopardizing federal investigations. It specifically says they can withhold anything containing personal identifiable information of victims, personal medical files. We know the survivors are comfortable with that. All of these things are actually in this bill.
They're not. Let me give you an example. And we could be up here for a long time. I'll litigate it with you because I brought all this stuff. All right. Okay. So the first one you mentioned. Okay. So here's the HRS 581. This is the discharge. Okay. It says on page 5, redact anything that depicts or quote depicts or contains child sexual abuse material (CSAM) as defined under 18 U.S.C. 2256. Okay. All right. So you go to 18 U.S.C. 2256, definitions of the chapter. Nowhere in this section, okay, go look it up, all right, does it contain the definition of child sexual abuse material.
Okay, so he's being really disingenuous here, I'm sure to nobody's surprise. This would ultimately leave what qualifies as that up to Trump's DOJ, which would actually leave a lot of the power in Pam Bondi's hands since the Chevron doctrine was overturned. Ultimately, the federal judiciary would have the ultimate final say on anything ambiguous. So this is why some actually on the left have problems with how Republicans have this written already, who knows what they're going to end up redacting with Trump's name in it to protect them while saying it's for this broader sort of vague reason. All in all, however, what should be known is the survivors are on board with the literature. They're on board with the language. They're on board with the bill. So him trying to pretend it's for the victims is insane, right? It leaves protections, unlike MAGA is pretending. They're just wanting two things. They want to prevent this release at all costs, and they want to try to weasel any language in they can to protect their cult leader the best they can, at least.
Guys, we're not making this up, and you can take it to your counsel at your outlet's offices and have them review it, and they'll tell you the same thing. This should have been done in a much more careful manner, and it was not. And I'm going to point out again, when the authors were asked to fix it, they said they weren't interested in doing that. Okay, why? Because this is a raw and obvious political exercise. Again, I'm just going to leave you with this question. You should go ask them all. If you were so concerned about the Epstein files and protecting the victims, why didn't you do a darn thing about it for the 4 years of the Biden administration? All this stuff was sitting in a warehouse, and nobody said a word about it. They didn't care. Now they're doing it. We all know why. Because they're trying to attack President Trump.
I mean, guys, the Epstein files were brought to the forefront of the political sphere by Republicans who campaigned on releasing them. They held photo shoots, went on press runs about releasing them until they found out that it might implicate Trump. We've debunked this really weak talking point before, but long story short, it's a self-report. The files were sealed until 2024, so anyone saying the Democrats did nothing when they could have for 4 years is showing they have no idea what they're talking about and only values this in so much as it's a talking point to do but Democrats. But guys, let's also just call out out game for what it is. They're now going so hard on the it's a Democrat hoax or the it's like Russia thing to kind of set the stage and poison the well, because they know when things do come out, they need this groundwork set so they can say it's political weaponization and Trump is being targeted and he's this innocent victim and it's the Democrats making a conspiracy out of nothing. As I said before, it's like they're essentially going to retreat all the way back to denying it unless Trump is like on video doing it. And then like, let's say a video was to come forward of Trump doing something. Well, then the video's AI, right? There's always some way for them to retreat and justify it in their mind. If there is a video and we prove it's not AI, oh, well, Bill Clinton's on the list too, so Democrats are evil, so I'll still support Trump. And, oh, it's about policy. And, it'll always be something with them ultimately.